cholera is a highly infectious bacterial disease caused by Vibrio cholerae, typically affecting the small intestine. It is usually spread through contaminated food and water and person-to-person contact. How can cholera outbreak be controlled and, more importantly, prevented? Cholera prevention and control is our focus today on Panorama, coming to you live from Ibadan Zonal Center. I'm Kemi Akiwande, first news making the rounds. Thank you for joining us. The organized labor has received stock of new CNG buses to ameliorate the transportation challenges faced by Nigerian workers. Transport correspondent Ladi Bala reports that the Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, 0ctober, took delivery of the buses from the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, at the Eagle Square, Abuja.
This is a significant development in Nigeria's transportation sector. The federal government of Nigeria has received 60 compressed natural gas buses from Jet Systems Automobile as part of its effort to ease transportation challenges faced by Nigerians.
So there's a pivot away from fossil fuel, there's a particularly petrol and diesel towards compressed natural gas and even electric vehicles, which are cleaner, more climate friendly, and of course, much cheaper on the pocket.
What word of assurance do you have for Nigerians that before December, we will have most of these refilling stations across the country?
No, this initiative is just beginning. These are the early steps, and there is commitment to bringing in more CNG buses and more CNG kits so that people can convert.
Economic experts note that government alone cannot drive the economy, hence the need to create an enabling environment for private sector involvement.
For this to move forward, it has to be a concerted effort between the private sector and the public sector.
The last interaction we had with Mr. President, he promised to assist organized labor, Nigerian workers and their family with CNG buses. And this is part of it. We took delivery of the first batch. This is the second batch. We are excited about it.
Nigerians await the benefit of CNG initiatives. In Abuja, Ladi Bala, NTA News.
Government is deploying more military personnel and hardware to flashpoints in eastern part of 0ctober state to combat activities of bandits terrorizing communities in the corridor. Minister of State Defense Bello Mohammed made this known during a tour of the frontline local government areas in 0ctober state. Dalhatu Abdullahi has the details.
The Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is revamping its ports through a partnership with ICRC and BPE. The Minister, Adebunga Oyetola, stressed the importance of public-private partnerships for sustainable port reforms. He emphasized that the previous PPP models faced challenges due to over-reliance on government funding.
Most of the ports you mentioned are supposed to be ongoing, are installed majorly by core investors. Sometimes they come up with a business case that looks very robust. When it comes to implementation, they don't have the funds. So the government is not supposed to put so much money into it, otherwise it's no longer PPP.
The Director General of ICRC, Dr. Jobson Ewalefu, restated private sector's involvement to unlock Nigerians' marine resources.
Nigeria is blessed. We are a country whereby we have all it takes in the marine sector to be a big player in the West African coastal line and also in Africa. And like we all know, the funding to do this are not there. They are not there. The only option that we have is to gather private sector funds to do this. And that is why Mr. President, in appointing me, said that we use my experience and expertise to ensure that bring in private sector financing in building and revamping our infrastructure in this country.
With this renewed drive, Nigeria aims to become a key player in West Africa's marine industry through robust private sector participation, driving economic growth and prosperity. Vivian Izadife, NTA News.
Of Marine and Blue Economy has joined forces with Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, and the Bureau of Public Enterprises, BPE, to revolutionize Nigeria's ports through effective public-private partnerships. This strategic collaboration aims to modernize ports, boost economic growth, and reposition Nigeria as a maritime hub in West Africa. Vivian Izadife reports that this was revealed during a courtesy visit by the leadership of ICRC and BPE to the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy in Abuja.
The Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is revamping its ports through a partnership with ICRC and BPE. The Minister, Abuja, stressed the importance of public-private partnerships for sustainable port reforms. He emphasized that the previous PPP models faced challenges due to over-reliance on government funding.
Most of the ports you mentioned are supposed to be ongoing, are installed majorly by core investors. Sometimes they come up with a business case that looks very robust. When it comes to implementation, they don't have the funds. So the government is not supposed to put so much money into it, otherwise it's no longer PPP.
The Director General of ICRC, Dr. Jobson Ewalefu, restated private sector's involvement to unlock Nigeria's marine resources.
Nigeria is blessed. We are a country whereby we have all it takes in the marine sector to be a big player in the West African coastal line and also in Africa. And like we all know, the funding to do this are not there. They are not there. The only option that we have is to gather private sector funds to do this. And that is why Mr. President, in appointing me, said that we use my experience and expertise to ensure that bring in private sector financing in building and revamping our infrastructure in this country.
With this renewed drive, Nigeria aims to become a key player in West Africa's marine industry through robust private sector participation, driving economic growth and prosperity. Vivian Izadife, NTA.
Sincerely apologize for that mix-up. We now take federal government is deploying more military personnel and hardware to flashpoints in eastern part of 0cto state to combat activities of bandits terrorizing communities in the corridor. Minister of State Defense Bello Mohammed made this known during a tour of the frontline local government areas in 0cto state. Dahatu Abdullahi has the details.
Communities in eastern axis of 0cto state have been under incessant attacks by bandits for years that led to the loss of lives and displacement of many families. The tour by the Minister of State Defense is the first of its kind as part of the federal government's renewed efforts to squarely curb criminal activities in the northwest region. The minister and entourage drove through Maranona Isa Road, which was officially closed down by the state government in 2020 due to high rate of attacks. Addressing the Gondomi community, the minister stated that his visit marks the reopening of the road, adding that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed the establishment of a military camp along the Gondomi forest to provide adequate security to communities and road users. At Turba village along East Sabon Road, the minister raises hope of the community that banditry will soon be history. Addressing the troops at Sabon military camp, the minister encouraged them to take the fight to the bandits, assuring them of reinforcement and deployment of logistics to restore peace in the area. Bello Muhammad urged people to support security operatives to actualize their mandate. 0cto State Deputy Governor who accompanied the minister warned people against politicizing issues of security.
Every part of this operation, understand, we're keen
The minister and entourage had a stopover at Hawandram village, which is now a shadow of itself, as the residents have for long fled for safety.
Our aim is to ensure that every community should come back to their home places so that at least they can continue with their life. So we provide security for them.
The minister drove through Isa Shinkafi Junction, passing through some deserted communities. 3 additional military units are to be stationed at strategic locations to ensure security of lives and the property of the communities. In Sokoto, Dalhatullahi, NTA News.
Rising mpox cases in Nigeria. Key players in national response are defining and building a fit-purpose health workforce to identify the potential routes, transmission and preventative strategies of the disease. What is mpox? Its symptoms and mitigations. Answers to these pertinent questions are the crux at a 2-day mpox training of trainers in Abuja by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, supported by the Nigerian and Norwegian Red Cross. Olusheye Adiabu has the details.
In the mpox epidemiological summary of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the country has no record of deaths, but confirms cases have increased to 90 out of over 1,000 suspected in 33 states across the federation, including the FCT. In the face of the outbreak, health workers unconditionally remain vulnerable. Consequently, Nigerian Red Cross Society is responding to this medical emergency by lending support to these essential workers through capacity building of field officers comprising 5 from the selected states, primarily to provide insights into mpox, like surveillance and control.
This is our own area. We are seeing the objective of the populace to fight against mpox, to avoid mpox, and we need to collaborate with people in that field to be able to train ourselves and occupy that gap that may exist in government functions.
All the state center representatives, all the border entry point members, say the airport and NCDC, they are part of this training. So we can say that there is commitment.
In this capacity building, it provides an opportunity for us to be able to discuss among colleagues and learn our best practices.
This training doesn't stop here. It's going to trickle down to the LGAs. So you're going to have the states that have been trained here go to the LGAs and get community informants that will be able to train on both surveillance, risk communication and community engagement.
The workshop is supported by the Norwegian Red Cross. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
For some messages, Panorama continues shortly. To stay.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, we turn dark into light, we make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Each ethnicity is unique, we are more than just a nation. We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Welcome back. The Oyo State government has confirmed 26 cases of cholera between January 1 and October 10, 2024, while about 107 patients are being managed at the Infectious Disease Center in Ibadan, with 1 death recorded during the period. In this report, correspondent Rofia Animashaun Badmus examines the prevalence of the disease and the level of sensitization in communities across Oyo State.
Cholera is a highly infectious disease that kills very fast because of the continuous vomiting and stooling associated with it. Experts are therefore urging individuals to regularly wash their hands with soap and clean water and to be wary of drinking water from unknown sources. Since the outbreak of cholera in the country, different sensitization measures have been employed to curb the spread. However, in Oyo State, it was gathered that the outbreak of cholera has been recorded in over 10 local government areas.
The campaign to the public is, let's keep our water safe, let's take good care of our food in preparation and even in consumption. Do not consume cold food, let it be hot. Don't eat food outside. Prepare meal within the four corners of your house, and make sure your environments are clean.
The surveillance officer speaks further on the level of sensitization in communities and grassroots areas.
I've been sensitized. The health educators, they are in all LGAs too, doing sensitization to the community people on the cause of cholera and what we need to do to prevent this.
Local government area disease surveillance notification officers and community informants have been positioned to increase surveillance activities at the local level and to educate residents on cholera preventive measures. In Ibadan, Rofia Animashaun Badmus, NTA News.
With me in the studio is an epidemiologist of Oyo State, Dr. Iyabo Karim. Dr. Iyabo Karim, welcome to Panorama.
Thank you.
And now you've seen that background report that initially Oyo State didn't have any outbreak of cholera, but from by August, middle August, suspected cases, and now we have confirmed 26 cases and over 200 suspected cases. Why is it hard to control cholera?
Okay, thank you. Like you said, Oyo State has recorded confirmed cases, and we even have one death from the confirmed case. But why is it hard to control is the gaps we find out from our outbreak investigations at the LGAs, the affected LGAs, that we still have challenges with wash. And what do I mean by this one? Water, sanitation, and hygiene. That's where we're really having a great challenge, and it has to do with us. I know government has its own part, but individuals, we should look at the environment. It is sad that we still have open defecation in Oyo State. In all these affected LGAs, we find out that most of them are still practicing open defecations, no access to potable water, and even their personal hygiene, environmental hygiene is really lacking behind. So it's individuals' attitude that we need to correct this time around. We need to know that you protect yourself and your neighbor. This cholera we are talking about is highly infectious, can easily come from one person to the another. But it is good that if hygiene is good, our environmental sanitation is fine, it will not, even if we're going to have, it won't be this case of getting across all the states.
You mentioned individual responsibility.
Yes.
What is the government doing to sensitize the people, especially rural communities?
Yes, there's an aspect of response which has to do with community engagement, risk communication and community engagement. From our own end, we have high-EC materials, that is information, educative and communication materials that we send out to educate people, to know what causes cholera, what they should do, what they should not do, how to prevent themselves, their family and their neighbors. Part of it is community engagement. You want them that you own your action, know that you have your own role to play. Part of it is this media engagement. We are moving all about. We are hearing jingles on cholera prevention on all our stations, both in English and Yoruba languages, so that people will know. Once they know and they are ready to change, I believe we'll get there.
What are you doing in terms of surveillance at border areas?
Yes, it's not even only border areas. Within, because surveillance, we have a system that is already working, and so we are leveraging on that system, which is a system that in each community, in each ward, we have community informants, 10 community informants per wards, that they are monitoring their community. So we are using them. Anything they pick, they will get back. And there's a flow from community informant to the LGDSNOs, so that if anything is happening in the community, we'll get to know fast. We got to know about this outbreak from the grassroots. So we are involving them. And about the surveillance again, what we need to, we are doing active case search recently. That is monitoring house to house, community to community, health facilities, so that we are sure that we don't have cases that we are going to miss. Okay. So from there, we know that if we get the cases on time, they can be linked to management, and of course.
Okay, from the 107 patients being attended to at the moment, being managed at the Infectious Disease Center, what's the response like? Are they responding? Is it hopeful that they would come out of it?
Oh, in fact, the 107 patient we've managed at Olodo, we have only 6 left on admission now. And they did well. We didn't have any deaths from the cases we managed at IDC Olodo. So they did well. They came out fine. One thing about cholera is early
detection. Yes,
early detection management. Once it gets correct treatment at the right time, it doesn't. It is coming to. We are having fatality if they are not taken on time and they are not getting correct treatment.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Karum. We'd like to move on from here. We hope that we will win the fight against cholera in the country. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We now move on to sports.
Following Nigerian Super Eagles' superb performance on Friday, where they defeated the Mediterranean Knights of Libya 1-0, football enthusiast says despite the win, more needs to be done to ensure the Eagles score more goals.
They did all the hard work. These guys came to frustrate us, but as God will have it, at the end of the day, we were the one that smiled home.
The Libyans came up with some antics just to wear out our people. But the lesson we learn from here is when you get your chance, take it and grab it.
But I'm not too happy about the game. The attack was not sharp enough. They played well. The midfield was a problem. The attack was a problem. However, I know we'll do better away.
Nigeria remained on top of Group D of the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier with 7 points, while Benin Republic second with 6 points, followed by Libya with 2 points, and Rwanda stays down with 1 point. Meanwhile, as part of Super Falcons of Nigerians' preparations ahead of the 2025 African Women's Cup of Nations in Morocco, the Nigerian ladies are set to host Algeria in an international friendly match on October 26 and 29 under the interim manager Justin Madugu. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Rugby Football Federation, in collaboration with World Rugby in support of Ministry of Sports Development, has launched an initiative to accelerate the growth of rugby among girls in Nigeria. This is to introduce rugby to secondary school girls across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Finally, in tennis, 20-year-old American Coco Gauff secured her 50th WTA win of the year with a 6-love, 6-4 victory over Magdalene Linnet in the WAM Open quarterfinals. The world number 4 will face top seed Irina Sabalenka in the semi-finals on Saturday. With sports updates, Peter Oibo, NTA News.
Service of the NTA from Ibadan Zonal Center. Thank you.